Okay, so I had this video idea since like July or August, but wanted to upload a few of these videos first. And wow, there's been so much stuff happening since then. First, Donald Trump got re-elected in the States, then Justin Trudeau announced his resignation, then Trump placed tariffs on Canada, Trudeau officially resigned, and Mark Carney stepped up. And just today, as of writing this opening section, March 20th, 2025, Mark Carney says he plans on calling a snap federal election for April 28th, just a few weeks from now. So instead of doing this video in the summer as planned, I'm going to enter crunch mode and see if I can make this video out on time. Well, I mean, you already know the answer, but I don't. So let's go. We don't have time to waste. The election system. Oh boy. So the way our system works is a little bit weird, but I'll just try to keep it simple and avoid all those asterisks. First off, the Prime Minister doesn't actually have a term limit, unlike the USA with the maximum of 2 terms. However, elections are required to happen every 4 years, similar to America. Except the Prime Minister has the power to call an early election if they choose, which explains how we got an early election in 2021, pushing back the set election from 2023 to 2025. The election process begins once the Prime Minister presents to the Governor General a personal document called the Instrument of Advice, which recommends the Parliament be dissolved. Once dissolution occurs, both the House of Commons and Senate business is shut down, ending all activities. The Governor issues to all the ridings basically saying, yo, we're doing an election, get your crap together. Once that's settled, individuals who want to run in an electoral riding can apply either independent or with a party. A party can only choose one person per riding. On the voter end, a person does not get the option to choose the Prime Minister directly. Rather, they choose a member of Parliament who represents their riding and seat in the House of Commons. The party with the most seats forms the government, and they get to decide who they would like as the new Prime Minister. However, the way votes are decided is through the first-past-the-post system. Meaning if a specific riding has candidates being really close to each other but one is taking the lead by 1 point, that candidate takes the entire riding. Repeat that multiple times over the country and very soon you'll have a bunch of seats filled. However, there are 2 forms of government we should talk about, majority and minority. The line for determination is a minimum of around 170 of 343 seats. Saying around, as for the 2025 election, the minimum is 172. But a minority government can still win if no other party reaches that 170 mark. But this means they'll have to form a coalition with another party to stay in power, and once that is all done, the Prime Minister is usually put in office from a couple days to a couple weeks after the election, assuming things don't go awry. Time for the current political parties of Canada. Alright, I know how polarized people are, so to avoid as much of controversy as possible, I will just be talking about each party's main goals and some key details about them. I'll omit any current events and politicians because 1, this video will get outdated almost instantly, and 2, that's just a nightmare.
Times have changed! Our kids are getting worse! They won't obey their parents, they just want to fight and curse!
Founded on the founding date of our country, July 1st, 1867, the Liberal Party was one of the earliest groups formed. It is one of the 2 main political parties in Canada in opposition to the Conservatives and is currently being run by Mark Carney. On the political spectrum, the Liberals are on the center-left, and they generally believe in the idea of liberalism, which is the idea that emphasizes individualism, political and religious freedom, cultural diversity, and gender equality. General equality. You know what? Both work. Some notable actions taken by the Liberals have been things like improving social welfare, notably with the Canada Child Benefits to help lower-class families, and they also expanded the Canadian Pension Plan. Universal healthcare has been a thing that Liberals have been continuing to advocate for over the years, and through recent times, it hasn't been doing too hot. But on the other hand, Liberals have also been fumbling a lot of stuff, primarily the housing crisis, which I know is not directly their fault. This is a worldwide problem, but regardless, $3,000 a month for a standard house nowadays is insane. It doesn't help that the government is letting lots of new people come into Canada. Am I saying that I'm against immigration? Not at all. I believe people should come here to get a better life. However, we do need to regulate it and slow down the amount of people that are coming into our country, because it is a lot. And yeah, there's not a lot of livable space for people to actually inhabit. Yeah, Canada's big, but mostly just ice. That's why people don't live in the territories, except for 5 people. And also, they added the carbon tax to help reduce our impact on the environment, which isn't a bad, isn't bad in theory, except why does it apply for people? Just make it for the companies. Charge them for the pollution. Alright, time for the opposition.
Should we blame the government or blame society?
Or should we blame the images on TV?
Although they existed in the 19th century, the modern Conservative Party, which is currently run by Pierre Poilievre, was founded in 2003 and they lie center-right to right-wing politically. They believe in the idea of economic liberalism. They want to lower taxes, have a small government, and low business regulations. Notable actions taken by the Conservatives during their leadership were things like reducing sales and income taxes, creating the Universal Canada Child Benefit, raising the age of consent from 14 to 16, Jesus, it took until 2007, and in 2008, the Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, apologized on behalf of Canadians for the residential school system, which negatively impacted thousands of Aboriginal children. Although the Conservatives support the Canada Health Act, which emphasizes accessibility for healthcare, they don't like the idea of a national pharmacare plan, which in short would increase government spending and intervention along with higher taxes. In Canada, we have pretty strict gun control laws, but the Conservatives are very much against them and believe that to fix any violent issues is to regulate how guns are imported and prevent illegal gun smuggling. Just ban the damn guns.
No, right Canada! Right Canada! For the beady little eyes and flapping heads of all
Time for the parties that have never taken main leadership roles in the federal government. The first one being the New Democratic Party, or simply the NDP. The NDP is a center-left to left-wing party that focuses mainly on social issues. Think of it as the Liberal Party, but way more saturated. The NDP supports the idea of broader social welfare, international peace, that's funny, expanding universal health care to things like dental care, mental health care, visual and auditory care, and prescription drugs. And also decriminalizing drugs in BC. Dear government, please fix the drug problem. I don't like seeing several homeless bums outside of my local Timmy's when I'm trying to grab Timbits. Thank you. They've also been advocates for things like gender equality and LGBT rights and whatnot. The drug problem is still bad, though. Obviously, I get it. It's like the point of it is to rehabilitate people instead of shaming them, which is good, but I feel like it could have been executed a lot better. What I think is the opposite of the NDP is the People's Party. They are a regular to far right-wing party that was formed in 2018 after their leader Maxime Bernier left the Conservative Party, saying what he believed that the party is too intellectually and morally corrupt to be reformed. The PPC never held any provincial or federal office, but has continued to advocate for itself, focusing on things like anti-immigration, wanting to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement. During 2020, it ran opposition to COVID-19 lockdowns and vaccine passports massively, disliked LGBT-related stuff, anti-abortion. You know what? You get the idea. Let's move on. As you should know, especially if you live here, Canada has two official languages, English and French. And you should also know that the majority of that French exists in Quebec. Throughout its history, Quebec has had significant advocates for independence from Canada, mainly due to the contrast in Francophone and Anglophone culture. So that's why in 1991, the Bloc Québécois party was formed. The Bloc is a center-left party that, besides watching Quebexit, supports some things like lowering the voting age to 16, LGBT rights, Quebec independence, the abolition of the Canadian Senate and monarchy, Quebec independence, the legalization of assisted suicide, and oh, did I mention Quebec independence?
They're not even a real country anyway.
They care about the environment. That's pretty much it. They're neither a left or right party, just an amalgamation of social, progressive, fiscally conservative, and environmentally green ideas. That is it. And that is Canadian politics explained in a general nutshell. And regardless of who wins, whether that's liberal or conservatives, the other not winning, let's be honest here, that we can respect each other, even if the views on our own cities, provinces, country, or the world are different. We are Canadians. We are supposed to be nice to each other. Let's show our neighbors to the south what real respect looks like. It's just politics. Don't get so bent out of shape because of it. Have a good one. Vote if you can, and I'll see you guys very soon.